class analysis were wildly negrophobic. You know, Herbert Harrison being the one, especially the first one that really calls them out. It's small C communism was fine. The problem was the party. The problem was the people and the way that race and racial difference was always waged. So it's always a mess. But you know, my commitment to liberalism is only because I live in the United States. If I lived outside of the United States and I lived in the country, and that's the reason why. I'm glad I said that. That's the reason why, from a kind of intellectual history standpoint, or intellectual history standpoint, why the Jamaicans and people from Barbados and Trinidad were so socialist is because they came from black majority countries.
Oh, for sure.
And so coming from a black majority country, it gives you a whole different political mentality and orientation. Anyway, I don't want to go on and on and on.
Oh, okay. So this is, I can't remember if we've had this conversation before, but I think we're going to come out of this Trump term where the media in black politics is going to be more liberal. I mean, you know, I love the leftists. I really do. I get it. I understand. I have a bleeding, overly empathetic heart, so I get it. But we're going to come out with, like, people being more overtly and strenuously, black people, committed to liberalism because they have seen the crazy shit that the federal government and centralized power can do. And there's going to be more commitment to let people do what they want, individual rights. Don't let the government do too much. I just think that the pie in the sky of, like, the leftist, I think this Trump term has killed that for black Americans. I feel that way.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be I think it'll be liberal. I think it'll be somewhere between New Deal liberal and neoliberal, but I think a lot of it is going to be based around individual rights, relationship to government, and actually not around economics. I think the economic situation is going to be a mess coming out of this because I don't think people will know what to do. But I think a lot of it is going to. I think there's going to be crazy forms of suspicion of the federal government, regardless of who is, from people that otherwise wouldn't have had it. I think states' rights is going to be a thing among Democrats and so forth. That's what, who knows what.
Yeah, I think that mistrust of the federal government overreach, I think that is going to come up in more democratic, left-leaning Negro conversation. I can already see it. Like, yeah, I totally agree with you. Trent is back.
Yeah, the one of the things, I mean, it's going to be like what do I call it? Like social libertarianism. I think people are really disengaging. I think people are going to disengage from their neighbors. I think it's going to be another period of hyper atomization coming up, and not for racial reasons. That is a backlash to integration, but just because people don't have a trust. I saw somebody in a store today. There was a person who had 2 cups of coffee in their hand, a bagel or a sandwich or whatever, and something else, and she couldn't open the door. And I saw multiple people look at her and decide not to help her open the door. And I can't read minds, but I don't think they didn't want to open the door because, like, fuck her, she can get the door herself. I think they were like, you know what? Y'all got it.
100%.
I really think that's what it was.
100%. You know, I live in the South, so there's more of a performative kind of comedy or whatever. But there is still that suspicion that I'm just going to take care of me and mine. And I can't even say that I am exempt. I am not. Okay. I've made some choices where I am not. But it's just so much more overt, that suspicion is just permeating every interaction, every conversation. This idea, back to the idea of the common good, right? We're doing things because it's the right thing to do, and because we believe in doing things that contribute to public good, that stuff is out.
Yeah, I think the notion of the public good is something that will probably have to be taught via K through 12 propaganda for it to come back. I actually think that young people seem to have it instinctively, and for whatever reason. Hold on. Let me back up with the young. I don't forget the young people, but it's going to be really bad. I think public good. I think common good. I think common welfare. I think the notion of a commonwealth. I think all of that is gone. And it's a shame too, because Republican thought, our Republican thought always emphasized sacrifice for the collective in terms of the polity or whatever. That's gone. I mean, that's really, really gone. And I do have this. I can't prove this. If not for the shittiness of the economy, I think that Army numbers would be in the tank. I think the greatest driver for getting these numbers up for military enrollment, I'm just using as an example, is how bad the economy is, especially for uncollege educated men. Just to give an example.
I 100%. I think a lot of this ICE stuff. Now, I don't know if it's controversial enough. I don't know if it's controversial, but a lot of this ICE is because of who ICE is attracting. And I'm anti-ICE anyway, but then you get an economy like this where they're offering all these incentives and bonuses. I saw a video that I double-checked to make sure it was real, where an ICE officer was saying, I didn't even go to college, and I make, with overtime, $200,000. How much do you make? Oh, my God. Like, this is somebody who, in any other circumstance, yeah.
You think you got to go to college to make $200,000?
No, that's not what we're talking about. The ICE officer said that because I don't. What's going on, Reg? First of all, Reg, how you doing? Good evening, bro. Good evening, Reg.
What he's doing.
Hold on, Reg. Good evening, brother. How you doing? What's up, Reg? How you doing?
Got you. I said, hey, you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. No. So we were just talking about the given the precarity of the economy, how people are doing these things seemingly for the common good, but they're just doing it, because they can't get jobs elsewhere. We don't think you have to go to college to make $200,000, although most people who make $200,000 or more did go to college. So the guy was in the video was sort of bragging that this opportunity with ICE and overtime and bonus gives him $200,000. That's all. But I brought you up for your question. You said, did you just figure out that the economy is bad and you think it just started this year? Who were you? Were you responding to someone in particular? I'm sorry?
You was the question. Do you think it just started?
No, I don't think it just started. I think the economy for class people has been hard for, I think, all of my adult life. And I think it's gotten progressively hard in the aftermath of the Great Recession. So that was 2011, 2012. So maybe for the past decade or more, it's been pretty rough. And then interestingly, COVID gave a kind of respite, given the sort of direct cash payments, the rental and mortgage moratoriums, so-called PPP, other things. I think people got a bit of a respite that year. But outside of that, I think it's been tough for at least a decade.
Well, I think that's a lot of the cause of what's going on right now, right? Because of the shutdowns.
Okay, cool.
So they can go up. So, I mean, if you look at the fundamentals, and you look at as far as if the value is basically going down, I mean, the standard of living would also go down because the cost of living would actually increase.
Yeah.
So, you look at that basic fundamental that covers, and if you have a government that's pretty much ignoring on both sides, I mean, of course, you're going to be dealing with the economy. That's pretty bad. Now, I think what has been saving us for these past, you could say pretty much for the past decade, is that the United States had the reserve currency for a while. And the United States was basically strong-arming the rest of the world to provide products and productivity to us in exchange for their reserve currency. But what's basically making it worse for us now is that we got a president who seems to not understand that, and he seems to think that we the one that's getting the short end of the stick when it's actually the other way around. We the one that's exchanging paper money that is not backed by any commodity or any productivity system in exchange for the rest of the world, or whether we're doing trade deals with productivity due to an IOU of a treasury bond. So we have become the world's largest consumers, where everybody is paying off of our reserve currency in order to provide productivity to, provide products for. And at the same time, we have pretty much and on both sides of the government, on both sides, whether Republican or Democrats, where they are basically taking on trillions of dollars of debt and seems to not want to basically pay it back, or if they are paying it back, they're not doing enough, they're not producing enough in activity to pay it back. So basically, the value of the dollar is actually decreasing, and while that value is decreasing, and you leave other countries that's providing, products to them, or exchanging or doing any trade deals with this country, you're pretty much getting the short end of the stick. And I think what broke the camel's back is when Donald Trump basically said that he's going to now. Well, actually, it was Joe Biden during his election when he said that he was going to basically provide sanctions upon some of these countries, whether it was doing a war effort or not. And then Donald Trump came, and then he said he was going to do even more and threaten to invade countries and threaten to basically put upon terrorists upon these countries and make things worse for them. So now these countries is basically saying, well, we're going to look for other alternatives or keep our own productivity in exchange amongst one another. And now that will basically get rid of the cash flow that the United States desperately need to go around the world, in order that cash flow will remain in the United States. And that, in a sense, there's an inflation of cash flow, and that inflation of money supply is now chasing the productivity that we no longer have. Of course, the cost of living is going to skyrocket, and I think this is just really kind of the beginning.
Yeah, I appreciate you. I mean, to the degree I could follow it, and maybe my own issue, I thought what you said was interesting, and I think I agree with what you're saying. I don't care as much about the debt as you and some other people do, but I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate your submission, and I think it was, outside of the debt, I'm rocking with you.
I think it's pretty much the afterthought at this point. I mean,
I'm sorry, you went in the water a little bit. Say it again, brother.
Me neither. I agree. I don't really care too much about the debt as much no more. I think it's pretty much an afterthought at this point. Either we're going to default on it or not. I mean, but it is causing. It is part of the problem that's causing the wedge. It just shows that. I mean, I think it's showing the rest of the world that this country really don't care and not going to be responsible as long as you're going to keep giving them free things in exchange for paper that's not backed by anything. It's just going to be on taking advantage of you. And now you got a president basically threatening the world to use his military power that the rest of the world basically paid for to attack them. I mean, at least back then with the other presidents like Obama, Bush, at least they basically pretended to say, like, we're going to protect you with our Navy and military. But now you got a president that's basically saying, oh, no, we're going to put sanctions on you. We're going to attack Greenland and take their resources. Now we're going to be like, okay, now it's like, okay, let's find another alternative. They're not going to pay us back. Now they're attacking us. Let's stop paying for it.
that's not buying any more of their bonds either. Yes, it's good, man. I agree. It's a weird presidency. I don't think Donald Trump has thought out some of the things he says, and because he's the president, people take it very seriously and move accordingly. Now, some people think it's manipulation in some ways intentionally. I think I don't know if it is or not, but I know a lot of it is just him just shooting the shit. But because he's president of the United States, you have to take it seriously, and to sometimes act on it. I mean, I think the Greenland thing is essentially over. We were obsessed with that thing for a month. I think that's probably over, but maybe not. I don't know. But I appreciate your submission. Anybody else can speak if you want. Or you can keep going, brother, if you want. Or anybody else.
Can I ask Kimberly a question real quick? Because I think I looked at your Dallas Fed. And it showed a net job.
Okay.
The turn of the plan changed.
The most recent Dallas Fed report, I believe, showed fourth quarter there was net job loss. Yes.
Correct. Yeah, there was 23,000 jobs lost on the year. Yeah, that is accurate. That's what I was saying. We were, in terms of population, we 340,000 people. So we were actually the highest state in terms of growth of population in the country. And the projection is for us in Florida to be the highest for the next 5 years. But you're correct in the terms of job loss in the economy. There was basically no growth in jobs in Texas.
I'm not exactly sure about the total number of population growth, but I do remember reading somewhere that the rate of population growth in the state of Texas was the lowest that it's been since 2005-ish. So it's
Since 2021. That's the lowest. I just read it in the Texas Tribune. It was the slowest growth since 2021 at 1.2%, but still the most amount of residents out of any state. And so yeah.
I'm just take. I might have just misremembered something, but I'm gonna take a look. But there's something. The Texas economy relied on in-growth migration, and not just domestic migration. It relied on international migration to grow the economy. And since that has been dramatically cut, there is no opportunity for the economy in this state to grow. I mean, I've said for a long time, even before that Dallas Fed report came out, what did it come out, like a couple days ago? But the Texas economy is much more vulnerable, much more fragile than people realize because of all of the cuts in migration and all of the deportation.
Correct. Completely agree with you. That is why even the Republicans here want a reprieve, and we have pretty much stopped ICE interdiction down here in South Texas. It's not nearly as prevalent as it was. I think it's still happening in Houston, but they are, because of the tax base and because of that. We're so reliant on people going back and forth, crossing from Mexico. They are asking the government, they're asking Trump to stop the ICE, which is why I never thought it was ever going to go through. I always thought it's going to affect the banks too much, it's going to affect business too much, and eventually business will be pushing back, and that's what's starting to happen here. And secondarily, you're starting to see. I don't think the Texas Senate race was a fluke. I think that the one in Fort Worth, the people here are, as you well know, are very upset about the way the things have been gone. Hispanics being targeted, even though it may not be them, it may be somebody they know. So I do think you're starting to see a backward trend for support, a significant backward trend for support here in Texas. And by backward support, I mean support for Trump and for ICE policy. It's actually pretty
Y'all got
significant.
the data from the feds. So the feds was counting. The feds was counting the, I guess the illegal immigrants in their reports.
So the Census Bureau counts the total population of the United States, whether or not they are citizens.
And they was counting the productivity as well.
Yeah, they don't always get. I can tell you this: they don't always get the total illegal population. It's hard to get that, but it is somewhat in there.
They have models. They do everybody: legal, permanent residents, legal residents, visa holders, and citizens. And so then when they do their projections, they take all that into account.
Sam,
I think it's Rice University. Isn't Rice funny? They release a report. I think it's every year, Kimberly. Have you seen these? Actually outline where they model and give a number, maybe a range. Have you seen a neoliberal of the effect of illegal immigrants on the Texas economy and how much, for example, they are important, how much they provide in terms of tax revenue?
It's so funny. I was reading this stuff, and yes, Rice came up quite frequently. They do a lot of population modeling and data. Yeah.
Hey neoliberal, what's up, man? How you been? We haven't talked to you in a while. What's going on?
Yeah, I'm just working a lot.
Wow, what's going on?
Literature review, so can't talk with that really. But yeah,
You're in the economy? I thought you were in industry.
I'm in the industry. I'm doing literature review for an.
It's a good one.
No, I'm doing it for implementation. So hopefully it's for drafting a specification for something. But yeah, hopefully they'll read it.
What language are you writing it in?
English.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the English speaking rooms have been useful.
Very. I've learned a lot. Yeah, I missed that. Kimberly, who is it from? I'll look it up.
Some institute at Rice.
Yeah, Rice.
Okay.
But the Fed was the original one they were talking about. Did you see that one on the warning about growth? I have to be honest, I don't read it as much as you guys do, Kimberly, neoliberal, Reg, but I see these numbers coming out of Texas, these top line numbers, and it's always impressive. Was it last year where growth was like 5.5? It was like 5+%, right? Wasn't that last year? Was it 2 years ago? It's always like Dakota, some other random state in Texas. Texas is always the highest of the biggest. It's always really, really high. So when you said that stuff about the Dallas Fed, which I hadn't read, Kimberly, what are they projecting growth to be this year?
Oh, I'm not sure. Let me pull it up. But the big scary thing that everybody was talking about was the net job loss in DFW.
Is the net job loss there a result only of the immigration removal, or is it also affordability issues?
There's lack of growth. Manufacturing is down.
What's the economy? Is it 70-30 service industry, or is it a service economy in Dallas? Is it mixing? I don't know. I never really studied.
Let me pull it up. But it's service economy. There's also manufacturing. I know a lot of people work in manufacturing of chemicals, oil and gas, of course.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
They don't have projections exactly.
Yeah, there's not projections. The projections are for Texas and Florida to maintain significant